Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we are going to be diving into and giving you the scoop on all of the kingdoms up until now that have responded back to me as I reached out to 135 of the G1 kingdoms. So essentially all of them that have a king or queen that could register or skip to the G2 season. And I'm going to show you their responses on who's skipping, who's undecided, who does not plan to skip, so you can have some numbers. And as always, if any new information comes in, or if you are a kingdom I reached out to, which usually entails reaching out to the R5 and potentially a few officers, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to update the list, or if your decision has changed, let me know, and then I'll do another update as well, probably when registration starts, so everyone can kind of have the most up-to-date information, especially if you as the king or queen are trying to make a decision for the betterment of your kingdom on what that upcoming KvK experience is going to be. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us out because it helps out a lot. So let's first just do a little history with the kingdoms, or some preluding here, which is, right, so we have all the kingdoms that are currently in Season of Strife pre-war. That's all of these, and then all the ones that are in pre-strife, pre-war, right? These make up the, I believe, 188 kingdoms, and then out of that 188, we have 135, again, at least as of on the 6th, that had a king or queen that effectively could register or not. So now, let me go ahead and show you updated data. I'm going to show you some updated top 300 player power too as well, that Fuzzy had just pulled for me yesterday. And so very recent for what we have. And as always, if you guys are looking to get information on any data bot usage, or just, hey, you know, what does this do? Link to that Discord in the pinned comment description down below. All right, let's go ahead and transition. And then I'm going to show you some separate stats too as well, that are more overview stats of this sheet for all of the kingdoms, or all of the 135, and then we'll look at the ones that are at 10 billion plus power as well for their top 300. So starting here, again, statuses, some of these will probably be the same. I don't think there's probably going to be much variance here unless you're ended up having any kind of kingdoms that go to a rebuild, or if they're doing a mass migration out. But the status is probably the only thing that just isn't updated, at least at the moment, from the 6th, right? So as of about 10 days ago. So again, right, we got 188 kingdoms, right, working our way up here. This is the season that they are in, or we're coming out of. And then again, we got the top 16, or top 300 power for the 16th. And you can see this is where we're starting out. And then you're going to start seeing, so I have a skip column here. And again, I'll show you the overview stats in a moment. But effectively what this means is if you see yes, clearly that just means yes, they're going to skip. If there's a question mark, it basically just means that they either didn't give an answer or wasn't able to really get an answer from them. The DM IG means DM'd them in-game. IG is for in-game. If you see DM DS, that means DM Discord. And then there's no, which effectively means no, I'm not going to skip. I am going to register for this upcoming KvK. So we'll kind of go ahead and go through this. And then you're going to see some undecideds, right? And the undecideds to me are very much how I kind of view if you're open. Like there might be some on here you'll see open, but undecided just means to me like, hey, you can go either way. Maybe it's like a yes if, and that's one of the ones people did tell me. They were like, yes, if others are going to register, if others will skip, then yes, we will go in. And you'll see a couple yes IOs. There are some blocked, which again, that just means that pretty much their R5 and some of the R4s, if not all the R4s, have blocked me, so I don't have a way to message them. Now, keep in mind, when I reach out to people, people could block me if they want, but right, it's up to each individual. However, when I reach out to management teams for kingdoms, me reaching out usually is some value message, right? It's me saying, hey, I'd love to get some information on, hey, is your kingdom interested in skipping? I'm reaching out to all the kingdoms. I'm going to do a video on that, right? Like, I think that's something that helps people out. I used to message some of the leads about, hey, do you guys want to join in on the King's Guard, which was for the kings or queens of kingdoms that I have on my Discord. So those are the kinds of messages that you would usually get from me, right? It's not like I'm spamming you for RSS or I want to sell you anything. But sometimes there's translation errors, and sometimes people just, at the end of the day, just don't really want to like do anything outside of the game, and that's completely fine. But I will still mark it down, at least for transparency's sake. However, their message here for 84 was like, they just don't want to participate in my content, or sorry, this one person did. I guess they were part of 65, which was my jump project there. Maybe I would have got a different response if I reached out to a different officer or something. But again, for transparency, I just want to include those. Let me see here. And then we got some more undecideds, a couple more yes IOs, right, as we're kind of working our way up. Now, this was, I'm waiting on a reply. So they basically told me that they would reach back out, but some of the kingdoms actually were telling me that they were about to have meetings on Sunday and Monday early in this week. So it could just be they're waiting to have those meetings and then maybe they'll get back to me. So if they do, again, I'll update this sheet and do another one. We have some more undecideds. We got some more yes IOs. Right, DM'd in game. I think you probably saw like the DM Discord too as well. Yeah, see, like for this one, DMDS, that just means, right, I messaged them on Discord because I have a master sheet for basically any Discord contacts. If you are the R5 or if there's no R5 Discord contact, I'll put an R4 there for pretty much a lot of the kingdoms that have kings or queens in it. And then we have some undecideds. This person said the R5 said the R5, or sorry, the R4 said the R5 wants to see the new map first before deciding, right? So that was, I think, the only response to the first one I probably got that was along that lines for what was specifically stated. And then we'll work our way up here a little bit more. FSK, that's no secret. Everyone pretty much knows that everyone at FSK has to be blocked. Which, again, I still don't understand why, because no one's actually ever given me an explanation or reasoning for why that is. And I don't think I've done any spamming outside of that one story I've told about the whole thing with Kyle. And how I felt it was just a misunderstanding. And I did correct it. And I know the message went through, but I'm still here where I am. So that's all right. Again, door is always open. And then obviously we get to the top of the list here where it was rumored to me that RAC was a yes, but I did message them in game. I just haven't heard anything back. So now that you've seen everything, here's the top, right? 300 power. I know my body is probably a little bit in the way. Let me lower a tidbit there. Okay, maybe that helps. I don't want to go too small, right? Because I want to feel tall. However, now let me show you some of the numbers. So here's where we are. Let's go over the all first, and then we'll do the 10B plus. So for all, we have 45 no replies mixed with blocks, with 2 blocks. So there's 43 no replies. I know, keep in mind, most of the no replies are from lower ranked to mid-ranked kingdoms as far as top 300 power, but more lower. We have 33 no's, or they will be registering. There are 14 undecideds, which could go either way. Now, to me personally, I feel that even if you split the undecideds, or if you see these numbers and you think to yourself, okay, well, damn, there's 43 kingdoms that gave me a yes and will skip. That to me makes me feel like the undecideds will lean more in the favor of yes skipping rather than no and staying. And I also feel that when you see the fact that 43 kingdoms are willing to skip and that the top 5 kingdoms are willing to skip, along with others that we'll get into in a moment, to me, it makes it feel like you might end up getting even some of the no's and will not registers to possibly flip, because you have to understand that if you have 135 kingdoms at the moment that can register, even though you still can get some additionals that will maybe get force registered if they've skipped 3 times or more already, you're still going to be left with a smaller pool, especially when you think of most of the kingdoms that cannot register are in that lower power category because they don't have a king or queen, right? So they're not strong enough to capture the dragon. To me, it just feels like you're going to be left with a smaller pool, which means you have a higher percentage chance of having more mismatches and more imbalanced kingdoms or imbalanced matchups between one team and another team, along with teams being formed. So to me, it just seems like a no-go at that point. It seems like you are less incentivized now to stay and not skip. However, there is a caveat before we get to the 10B plus, which is that what happens, I mean, we have to understand they still have not started registration yet. So even as of today, registration has not started. And that's one of the things to consider as well, is that, and I'll even double check this, right? Let me go in. Yeah. So let me do this. Let me load up Kingdom 1 because I know they're in. But as of last night, I believe after reset, from what I saw, was that they still had not started the registration period. Now, maybe they're trying to align this with KvK, or sorry, with the update that's going to be hitting on the 20th, right? So we have a couple days left until that hits. So maybe that's the case. Because even right now, yeah, they still haven't started it, right? I'll bring this screen over and you can see, right, I'm in Kingdom 1. This is one of them. Let me zoom out and you can see Kingdom 1 here, top left. And again, they still haven't started. So now my thought is, okay, well, are they waiting for the update to drop and then they're going to start it after the update? Because if that's the case, you're basically at the 20th. I mean, if you just wait 2 more weeks, you are aligned with the Gen 2 group already, and there's no need to skip. So this kind of ends up being a moot point if they decide to start registration on the 4th when that next batch of kingdoms comes out. But they could also start it on the 20th, which would also fall in line with their 2-week period between KvKs that they've said they want to stagger them out at. So I think that's the next date to look at. It's going to be 3 days from now on the 20th. Will they start the registration, or will they start the KvK start timeline period up? Or if they don't, then I think it's more likely that they will push it until the 4th. And then at that point, there's probably no need for all these kingdoms to skip or not skip. But now we talk about the 10B plus. And with 10B plus, you have 9 no replies, 17 no's will registers, 8 are undecided, and 26 are going to skip. That, I think, is a more impactful number to look at, especially when you look at the fact that you have 7 of the top 10 kingdoms at 19 bill plus are a yes. Those 3 undecideds being RFF, NF57, and NA, I think it's more likely when you look at the numbers now that they will most likely skip. And so if that's the case, I mean, I could go as far down as number 14. And I could argue that the top 14 kingdoms are very likely to skip, right? At least 9 out of those 14 with the 5 undecideds. Even if 3 out of 5 of those go, you're at 12 out of the top 14 kingdoms, right at 18.5 bill or 19 bill plus. Again, there's a lot of reason on why you would. Now, I will say this in my closing remarks, is that if we get a situation where they do start the KvK timeline on the 20th after the update drops, whether it's that day at reset or the next day at reset, which it could be as well, then I do think that more people should skip. I think that if you don't skip, you're going to be more disappointed than you probably think, or you will be disappointed compared to what you may think. And that's just because you're going to have a smaller kingdom pool. And like I said, you're going to have a higher percentage chance to have more imbalanced or unbalanced matchups. And not only that, but the teams that are going to be formed have a higher percentage chance, right? Unless you think every kingdom is going to get together and they're like, okay, let's just do all the math and the data calculation and figure out, okay, you go with you go here. I find that's a tall order. I think that's unlikely. However, if we get it to where the update drops and we don't see anything happening within a day or two, then I would like to believe it feels more likely that they may just wait to start it on March 4th. So like the moment that the Gen 2 batch comes out on March 4th, they'll start it then. Now, if they want to be a little more cavalier, they could wait till the 11th, right? Because we know that there's a group coming out on the 11th, which I think if I go here, let me see where my, oh, sorry, hang on, it's Gen 4. Oopsies. Let me go, where's main? I think it is, right? So sorry. No, my bad. Gen 3. So if we go main, there's a group coming out on March 11th, I believe it was, right? Hang on. Where is it? Yeah, right here. So you have, but it's only one KvK, right? It's just a pre-strife group for SPS 2513. So again, maybe it really won't, be that much. Aside from that, I'd love to know what you guys think, right? After seeing these numbers, do you feel that it is more incentivized for more kingdoms to skip? Are you okay with staying behind, knowing the amount of people that are willing to skip now? And lastly, are you willing to wait at this point until March 4th to where you would have a lot more kingdoms coming out? And we showed this pool before on the main skip, right? You'd have 262 kingdoms that have a king or queen compared to the 135 about, right? I think this was either 262 or 256, but it's nearly double that you would be able to have. You would have the biggest KvK pool in the history of CoD in its 2 years thus far. And matchups, teams would have a higher percentage chance to be more balanced, and matchups would have a higher percent chance to be more balanced. To me, I just feel like it's a win all around. But that's just me. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.